Thank you. Okay, now we will move to Q&A. So I would like to invite Basant to moderate the Q&A session. Thank you, Basant.
Thank you, Dharma, and thank you both speakers. I think we had an excellent presentation, lots of insights. So there are several questions by various people for the presentation. The first one is from Professor Pushpa Tapparji. So I think her question is, now with the rampant AI and data centers and subsequent enormous water requirement for these data centers, how is the sudden demand being planned in national water framework? So it's a question for Archana ji.
Yeah, thank you. And I think it's one of the most burning questions, or I would say rather an issue. And I don't think it has been addressed as of now, because this is a very upcoming thing. In fact, the water requirement of data centers, and there is another, issue within India which is going to come up, is the ethanol mixing in petrol. And the ethanol is coming from sugarcane. And sugarcane is a water-intensive crop. So, I mean, these are the issues, I mean, the real challenges. I don't know how the government is going to tackle them, but at present, there is no provision of consideration of these issues.
Thank you. The next question is from Sushil Gupta ji. So the question is, the most controversial interpretation in India is the Indian Easement Act. This needs to be discussed in detail. So just imagine Indian Constitution doesn't explicitly mention right to clean drinking water, which is implied in right to life. So any comment from you, Archana ji?
Yes, it is actually, the Indian Easement Act, but then now we have this Central Groundwater Authority, we have the Groundwater Model Bill. So what has happened over the years, this act remains in place. It is an old age act, but then now the center through the authority has powers. All these, wells need to register themselves. So every well is to be registered, and then the center itself has delineated the aquifers within the districts, and also classified as vulnerable or safe or unsafe for water drafting. And then there are specific guidelines whether one can pump, and then for industrial pumping there are strict guidelines now in place. But Indian Easement Act still remains in practice. In fact, I will give another example. There used to be the old customary laws. There used to be a law of water rights, which says first in time, first in right. So a person who reached, who started drawing water from a water body, say from a water body or from a river. So that person must have, developed his livelihood around the water usage. So the person who went first, this is very specific to the desert states. So it was there in India, but now it is no more, experience. But still, in the Arizona desert of US, this law still exists. So people have water rights based on first in time, first in right. So this is just one comment on these old aged water rights.
Thank you. Next question is from Shivanand Indasagari ji. Is he there? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Would you like to ask the question yourself?
Yeah, very much, sir. Madam, I just wanted to know, there is a water tribunal, Madai Water Tribunal, that has been constituted.
Yes.
So, and out of the final award that was given in 2018, 13.5 TMC has been allocated to Karnataka state. So, but still that award has been challenged in the Supreme Court by all the three states involved, Goa, Karnataka and Maharashtra. So I just wanted to know what is the future roadmap with respect to the state of Karnataka as far as the implementation of Kalsa Bundari project is concerned, for diverting water from Madai Basin to the Malaprabha Basin for drinking water needs?
Your question is a very specific question, and the answer you could get, the details are there. If you go to the website of the Ministry of Jal Shakti, Department of Water Resources, they have, the details of awards are there. And if you say the future, I mean, I cannot comment anything on this because the tribunal awards, as I showed in one of my slides, that there are contradictions of Supreme Court jurisdiction. Supreme Court, considers the SLPs. So through SLPs, the awards are being challenged, and still many of these, tribunal awards are still not settled. So future, I cannot say. A lot of political interventions are there, and Mahadai, I also heard about it. Initially, there were also issues that one of the states was actually, giving an underestimated figure of water inflows that they were receiving. So there are a lot of, I mean, it's very complicated. And, as a water resources, I mean, I am a small expert in this area. So it is very difficult. There are so many actors, for making decisions for the award. So future I cannot say, but the details, if you want, you can go to the website of the MOJS, and every award details are there. These are, big. There are chapters and chapters for each of the award, so you can read from there.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Manu.
Next question is from Dr. Israr Ahmad. I think he's here. Would you like to ask the question, Dr. Ahmad?
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you very much for the beautiful presentation, Archana. My question is from, we have this smart city initiative by Government of India. Now, what I could see, there is a large scale city transformation and development activities, but, water planning is not in the loop. So my question is how is the idea of integrating, in fact, the smart city initiative with integrated water resource management?
Well, I think it's a wonderful idea if we can integrate the smart city, concept into the water management. And there are some synergy schemes like the Amrut, the Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation. Like in the smart city, there is a lot of scope for water recycle and reuse. Also, you will have different, instruments for measurement, how much water is being drafted, how much water is, for rivers. So all this is going to help in various, water allocation schemes. So, I mean, there are synergy schemes, but still they are all, indirect schemes. One example is the Amrut, the Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation. That is one scheme. And the new, I would say, the schemes, the water resources schemes like the SCADA. Now the measurement is to be done. The online instrumentation measurement will come, and then it will be used for various kind of forecasting. So right now, only, I mean, one that Amrut, I know, I've, read about that Amrut 2.0, which is an amalgamation into the smart city mission. But then definitely if we try to, but then the problem is the same, which I mentioned during my presentation. There are so many, central ministries which directly or indirectly deal with water. And sometimes it so happens that, the objective or mission of one ministry is contradicting to the objective of another ministry. So that is why if we have a central, but then the National Water Framework Bill, the states have directly opposed because they fear that if the kind of central bill is enacted, then they will lose their own power of, controlling the water in their states. It's a very complicated issue, and the population or the human rights should have been the center stage, but I'm sorry to say that the center stage is still politics.
Thank you. And I think Dr. Professor Chaudhary was going to, he has a hand raised. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Sonia?
Thank you, Vasant. Dr. Archana, thank you very much for the
Thank you,
wonderful
sir.
presentation.
Thank you.
Actually, what I feel like in Haryana,
Yes,
we are one of the states which can be considered as a zoo for all the water resources related
very true,
issues.
sir. Very true. Very true.
But unfortunately, there are so many authorities which are coming up, and we are finding lesser and lesser role of the academics and the researchers.
Very
So
true.
I don't know. I mean, these frameworks and legislations at times are complicating the issues instead of resolving that. So, what's your take on it?
I agreed. I totally agree with you. And I think what you said that it is one of the, a worst example of water governance, Haryana state. Look at the SYL canal, the Satluj
Yeah.
Yamuna link canal. Still, it has, the Haryana has built it until the border, but there is no connectivity. Haryana still is not receiving the water of Satluj, which is allocated. And this is the worst example of political intervention. How politics and it's I don't know, it's politics, it is I mean it is also some kind of militancy which has happened against it in the past. I mean examples are there, people, the chief engineers have been killed, who tried to take this up. So this is actually worst example, and that is why in my concluding remarks, the one small sentence I highlighted in a different color was the politico-administrative cooperation.
Thank you. I think
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So we covered most of the questions for Archana ji. I think very important and interesting topic. I think so we can technically sound and scientifically doing all the right things, but legislation, the water law, and all those things are very important. And one observation I had is most of these acts and bills and legislation are related to surface water. Groundwater has only easement or the model groundwater bill.
Yes.
So something if visible, then there are so many disputes. Underground, you can't control. Very important for India. As you mentioned, up to 70% groundwater is used for irrigation or some other usage.
Yes, in many places it is true.
So that's my observation, that visible and invisible, the problems. And thank you so much. And now we have some.
So before you proceed to the next set of questions, I just have one small, because I understand that some students have also joined. So I just have a small message for the students, because they are at a very early stage of their research. So you should have a bigger picture. I mean, you are doing a research, but then if you can orient your research towards solution of these kind of issues. So now they have this idea, so they can do more of reading, and they can have a bigger picture, and then aim their research objectives accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we have a few questions for Professor Ricky. So one is from Dr. Hindor Gatak. I think he's here. Would you like to ask a question yourself, Hindor?
Thank you, sir. The question is for Professor Ricky Spencer. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. Just to get an idea about the pilot program you have been planning to design with the MyWell app. So how many community members or how many of these low-cost probes will be involved in that? And what kind of time frame are you looking at so that you can ensure like proper training and QA/QC on the ground?
Thank you for the question. It's a really important question as well. What I would say is we're right at the beginning of this, at least for in terms of Marvi going forward. I envisage, and obviously we need to work with everyone, the existing Marvi network would be a great start because they already have been trained, and there'll be additional training. So I really think it's something that we could look at with the existing Marvi network, although we would love to do it elsewhere. We want to take Marvi elsewhere, particularly throughout Southeast Asia as well. So I do think it's got a broad potential, and there we really could have multiple pilot studies in different regions to compare, kind of global changes as well. So I think a relatively small number, like as in you need somewhere between 50 and 100 in a region. That would be great to have that many probes out there. Definitely quality control and assurance would be really important there. So obviously comparing it with what the probes are telling us with the more accredited probes, or sending water tests away to confirm what we're seeing, and looking at those changes. So that would be part of any program that would look to, but also obviously want to quality check the people that are involved and how they're doing it. So obviously we would, or experienced people using these probes would also do it at the same time, not in every location, but just randomly throughout to compare those kind of things. So obviously very important there. But we're really right at the beginning of this. We're using these probes now on the islands that I proposed around here, and we're testing those. One of the difference between people going out there and using the probes in their well is that they can change the batteries, they can do all that kind of things. These remote islands, we're now testing big battery packs and solar panels that we can remote, and then we can access, working out the best ways to, is it we've got solar routers, network routers, or using Android phones that we can, essentially do all the AI right there and or do it through the cloud. So it's a really exciting time in terms of where this is going, and we would love to, if you're interested, please reach out to us, because we would certainly love to not just connect, not just do the Mavi type drinking well projects, but connect that with, the platforms in the area that connects the surface water with the groundwater and that sort of thing as well too. So lots of potential in this area. We're really right at the beginning of AI, and really right at the beginning of environmental monitoring at low cost, low power. That's the big thing.
Thank you, Ricky. So I think we are heading towards this data rich and thinking what to do. So traditionally, government departments have been monitoring groundwater data, water quality, some other data. And but I think the next step is to involve people, citizen science, and the AI is there, and data science. So if we have lots of data of different things, and with the AI and data science applications, we can see what's happening and where. By having network of these measurements, you can understand much more than just few data. And if you have a lot of data, machine learning can help. And so MyWell app, we have found one probe, and we are able to connect to the MyWell app instantly, and then you can measure all these 5-7 parameters. So this could be a very good way to measure various things, and it costs only less than $100, so it's affordable. So if NGO wants to do something, I think few thousand rupees can be the way to do. And I think the important thing is if we can have something which is reliable measurement rather than precise measurement. So if we want to know the change, what's happening relatively with different parameters, and this MyWell app is now is ready for use. And Alan, who has been working with us, he just uploaded on the Google Play Store and iOS, and web app is ready to use. So it's all there, and we will be announcing and giving links to everyone who wants to use anywhere. My question to you, just the last one, your comment, Ricky. So with AI, sensors, and citizen science coming together, what do you see the future in next 5 to 10 years? Where could we go?
I think to a large extent it can make life better for people. To a large extent, people don't need to know about, hey, this parameter is saying this parameter is saying that. What it can do is actually tell people that this is potentially this gives you information about how to plan your life better, how to be healthier, and how to, like I said during the talk, planning your crops based on, knowing the water levels with the climate and the climate changing, those sort of things, that you can plan your life better. But also having something that, you get like you said, in terms of water parameter changes, a massive change in one of the parameters can automatically give you an alert that, hey, stop, maybe you shouldn't drink your water straight away. There's something happened here. So in terms of public health, but from an environmental point of view, for biodiversity, for our rivers and planning around our rivers, and we've got some similarities, but some very core differences between Australia and India. But the reality is, to a large extent, most of the time we are recovering from a situation in terms of, we've had massive fish kills in Australia, all predictable, but essentially potentially what we can see in this space where AI can actually really help us predict the future, and be able to give us the alerts, but also help develop the solutions with us as well. It's not, I kind of was strange to say it's not replacing people. People are the most vital aspect here. But it is a companion. That's a tool that we can use to improve public health, but also our biodiversity values, nature, which ultimately biodiversity, nature, are your ultimate water purifiers. So you need your ecosystems functioning to have great, good quality water that we can drink.
Thank you, Ricky. So just a final comment. I think so far the water data, whether rainfall or groundwater or river flow data, are mostly within the government departments or some, if they are available, researchers, scientists using, but not to the ordinary people. And I think what we're trying to do is to make those data available to anybody. And I think we sometimes underestimate ordinary people, citizens. They will not understand, but not
Yeah,
true.
and I think you're right here. It's not so much making the data available to people, but making the data being able to be used that people can benefit from. And I think that's the data being available. It probably doesn't mean much to the general community per se, but if it can be used to actually help benefit their day-to-day life, those kind of things, that's where the data transparency and data use is really important.
Yeah, and I think what we found in Mari is that without using Excel and models, having data and experiencing data, the farmers or the BJs could develop their own rule of thumb, which is very, very good. And so I think we have democracy, but what we need is a water democracy, means water data available to anybody and make them available and make them understandable. So this has been really good presentation. Both are fitting very good. I think one side is looking at the legislation management, and the other side is to collect data and fit both together.